I'm going to, I've said last week, I think it was on Monday when we talked, that Trump needs to address three issues. In my view, he has already solved 97%. Well, not 97. He solved half the things that needed to be solved. There's three that the consumer, that the average voter is going to be hit by in the next couple of months, and that is utilities, housing, and healthcare. Housing won't be as dramatic, but the healthcare insurance is going to go up. Utilities are going to be crazy over the winter. And so today is not the day for utilities or housing, unless you want to. What I want to ask you about is healthcare. And I'm going to show my ignorance, and I'm going to continue the setup and say that I see it this way. There are four issues: consumer overuse, and the cheaper it gets, the more it will be overused. Number two, the actual cost of delivering the care, including the doctors, the prescriptions, and the hospitals. Three, the middlemen, such as insurance companies and other kinds of middle people, which I think you have a lot to say about. And number four, government interference, which almost always adds cost. Anyway, with that set up, you can ignore what I just said, or you can riff off of it. I don't care. But what are you going to do, Larry? How are you going to if you had Trump in here right now? In fact, he's listening. Tell him what he needs to do.
Every single piece of healthcare legislation we've had for the past 30 years has added significantly to the cost of healthcare and has had very little impact on its quality. If anything, it's had a negative impact, but certainly it's not had a positive impact. We have to find a way, to reverse the institutionalization of our healthcare system such that it has handed the keys of the kingdom to the insurance companies and to the healthcare combines. They're not insurance companies. Look, healthcare, there is no such thing as healthcare insurance. There is no such thing in this country as healthcare insurance. Okay. There's an institution that owns insurance, pharmaceutical middlemen, and the healthcare delivery, institutional delivery of healthcare. And most of the major monopolists, they are monopolists, own across that swath. And doctors and nurses get paid very little. The insurance companies and their subsidiaries or their associated companies take a huge proportion of it. A very large number of them are not-for-profit. These institutions are not-for-profit, but they are for the aggrandizement of their executives. So we have this incredibly, insane system, and it's all come about through the accretion of all of this legislation. Government has to get out of it. The worst nightmare is the British healthcare system, where government became formal and just took it over, and that's been going on for 60 years now, 70 years, since the end of the Second World War. They outright, nationalized it and then went to hell in a handbasket. We have kind of nationalized it, but we've done it through intermediaries, and those intermediaries are called health insurance companies, the healthcare not-for-profits, hospitals, and the like. So we have to re-empower doctors. We have to re-empower medical professionals. We have to allow them to set up shop, just as they did, throughout the middle of the century, middle of the 20th century. And we have to reverse the institutionalization of these insurance companies, not-for-profits, hospitals, and we've got to make price discovery possible. Everybody has to publish their prices, and they have to stick to it. There can't be 15 prices for the same procedure, depending on, how big an employer you are or how cozy you are with the healthcare. All of this, if you take away the bureaucracy and if you take away all the legal constraints around the healthcare system, the actual cost of medicine is very low. Actual cost is very low. So, I think, and drug costs are out of all proportion to reality. Drug companies, that hit these blockbusters make enormous amounts of money, and everybody argues, well, they have to because they do all the research. Come on, it's not an open free market. It is not. Drug companies have got, once they invent a drug, they have a monopoly on that drug, and the prices go through the roof in the United States of America. That's not true of the rest of the world.
Right.
Anyway, here endeth the rant. I mean, I wrote a white paper. Anybody who wants can write to me. I'll share it with them. It's a 30, 40-page white paper. It just explains that, the problem is not the cost of healthcare. The problem is the government control and intervention in healthcare.
The future is here. The singularity is coming. Grab your copy today, available now on Amazon in Kindle, print, or Audible. Unlock the future one page at a time. What will you build tomorrow?